sold, or and they keep putting us on a wild goose chase, they try to escape, or you're not worried about that?
Uh, Mr. Chairman, of course I'm worried for my partners. Of course I hope they can be released, but if, in my humble opinion, being I think what my partners are saying is, we are not saying we're not going to answer for all these questions raised. I think they are legitimate questions, but they feel that it is there should be a more appropriate forum in terms of on these questions, especially regarding taxes and our financial statements in the BR with the BR, and commenting here will more or less implicate our the investigations there. So
I understand, but you see, let me just point out, human nature, especially you're very trusting with your friends, and you're very protective of your friends. I would imagine that you would be disturbed that you're missing all the documents, right? After all, you represent 40% of the corporation. Isn't that correct, sir?
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
So if you're missing those documents, and if they are very, cavalier about handling those documents, could it be possible that they were also cheating you?
Mr. Chairman, I don't think they are cheating me. I think it's also a lapse in my responsibility.
You're a very kind person.
I think it's also a lapse in my responsibility because I was dealing with.
You don't think
family...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. Please continue.
I was dealing with family matters during this whole period, and they in my opinion, they stood up for me and helped me to run the company. So I put a trust in them, and I didn't follow up, and that's a lesson part.
I appreciate your trust in them. I'm just saying, if these guys show that they cannot even remember things, they cannot remember what they signed, they cannot even show where the boxes are which contain the documents. There's infidelity in the custody of documents, assuming there really are those documents. Because at the rate we're going, it would appear that you could not blame us if we conclude that perhaps there was never really any delivery.
Wala talaga kayong makuhang reaction dyan pag ganun.
Right? Because they're not showing the documents. Right? When it is a simple matter, wouldn't it be a simple matter? And you don't have to tell me about your lawyer that you should show the documents when you're asked if you have nothing to hide?
Mr. Chairman, I'm not. In my opinion, I guess I believe in the system of the Philippine government. I did on the procurement side. I believe that if there's no,
don't blame it on us, because
I'm not blaming on anyone. I just said
I'm not as confident as you, because I've seen in the Blue Ribbon investigations that I've conducted, there are some bad people in our country. Like in yours, there are some bad people in your country. We don't have a franchise on bad people, but certainly the law says there's a presumption that they're innocent. But can you blame us? Every time we ask a question, Lincoln would say, please don't ask me about that. Accounting yan eh. Don't, and then if you ask Mr. Gargani about that, he says, I cannot tell you because, my lawyers told me not to answer, or he will have some funny excuse that, I cannot tell you who this guy is because I just met him in a bar, and then later on we met, and then he supplied me with the money to pay that plane, and then he cannot continue on the veracity of his information. I can go on and on, Twinkle says she reads all the documents but cannot remember. And then you have the government representative, as Senator Dillon says, and you heard the testimony of Mr. Mendoza that they were asked to sign without looking at it. So this is the Blue Ribbon investigation. We have put people in jail permanently here. The investigation results, have resulted in the locking up of two high officials of the government. We're investigating 42 billion pesos that was given to this to be spent by family in a very cavalier manner. I mean, we have to find out. So we can come into the conclusion that if they cheated the government, it is possible that they cheated on you. Did you know, for example, that your good friend, Dargani, your trusted friend, gave his girlfriend and Miss Mago a corporation called Business Beyond Limits? I should have called it Lying Beyond Limits. Because Sophia cannot be seen. Miss Mago changes her testimony. There is a highway of lies. A highway, you're like rubber bands, elastic. You keep changing and changing and changing, and you keep going back and back. We didn't want to jail you guys. In fact, I said in Tagalog, mabait ito si Mr. Wang. Because when we were telling Lincoln on the first day that he was going to be locked up, you came to his rescue and you said it was Michael Young. It is true that Michael Young was not telling the truth. He was actually supplying you with money and supplying you with contracts. In fact, I have the names of people like Meow Meow, Jin Tui, Su Tian Yun, Chang Ah Hong, Meow Meow. And who gave this? Wasn't this Michael Young who gave this? So every time we push back, they give a little. And then, I'm just summarizing, Mr. Wang, because you are the company president. There is such a thing as a fiduciary relationship to the stockholders and to the country, our country. For example, when Mr. Ong gives us the number of ACME, and I can show you what is the report on ACME, they went to the subdivision and they said there is no number by that name. Here, it says the first attempt to serve the subpoena to Ms. Naindre and Ms. Garange on November 25, 2021 was 16D Reynaldo, Tandang Sora, Quezon City. According to Joy Alunos, Secretary of Raymar Subdivision Homeowners Association, there is no number 16 in Reynaldo Street. And there is no Evermore Marketing and Supply Company in that subdivision. So again, that's a lie. And then also with the other one that were allegedly the guy who did not pay the right taxes, the first one who paid 3 million more in taxes, Tiger Phil, and then he was referring to another company who Green Trends, who we cannot find. No person lives in that address. All right, and then the other one is another person that we cannot find is Gerald Cruz. We cannot find Uson. We cannot find all these people, and they're all connected. And Michael Young doesn't even want to tell us where he got the money for this LA. Doesn't want to tell us where he got the money for Yangtze or for Pali. But the facts show that he has so much money, but he doesn't want to explain it. So this is a litany of lies to be very simple. And then your accountant, she says she was paid 4,000 and she was just given a list. She doesn't know of her personal knowledge that the documents there pertain to actual facts. And now comes Jeffrey Mariano. Now I'm going to go now to Jeffrey Mariano after going to that recital of lies. Jeff, are you going to be part of this party of liars? Let me ask you. You submitted an amount of 7 million, saan yan? 7 billion na pinakita mo 7.2 billion. Anong basis mo dun sa 7.2 billion? Can you tell me?
Sir
Hindi mo
Chairman,
nakita, ano ang pinagbasihan mo nung 7.2 billion?
nakita po namin, Mr. Chairman, yung mga documents.
Pero unsupported yung 3.4 billion, correct?
To be honest po, sir, hindi ko po din mag-gets kung bakit yun lang po yung lumalabas sa BIR.
I'm glad you said to be honest.
Apo,
Eh,
kasi,
yun ang
sir,
sinasabi ng BIR. Are you now saying the BIR is lying?
ayun nga. No, sir, I'm not insinuating that po. Pero, to the best of our knowledge, sir, and also was mentioned by Sir Mohit, yung iba po kasi yung purchases were importation. So, nagtataka po kami, bakit hindi po yun nasasama sa
In fact,
nag-add?
wala si Tiger Field doon. Wala yung mga kotse, 10.9. Ang sabi ni Mohit, binigyan niya ng 25 million peso Lamborghini yung kanyang kapatid. Nag-advance siya sa korporasyon. Nandun ba yun? 25.
For 2021, sir, parang wala po na advances for the car.
Ha?
2021 po yung transaction, sir. If I'm not mistaken po, wala pong advances for that.
Pero sinabi ni Dargani na may advance siya. So he's lying.
For the car po, sir, yun po yung sinasabi ko. Wala pong advances for that.
Kaya nga.
So,
So hindi nagbayad ng tax doon. Di ba? Or for that matter, sinabi mo, ang nagbibigay sa'yo ng dokumento si Dargani, pero nung tinanong si Dargani, hindi niya na matandaan. Tama, Jeff?
alin pong transaction? Specifically, sir.
Sabi ko, galing sa kamo, ang information, galing ka. Sinulatan mo siya, di ba? Ano sinulat mo sa kanya? Ano sinulat mo sa kanya? Sa email?
Ito po, sir. Basahin ko lang po. Would like to request the items from the attached file as requested by the Senate.
Hindi siya sumagot.
Wala pong feedback, sir.
Sinabi mo, in-email mo siya tungkol doon. You're asking for the attached file, right?
Yes po.
Attached file. Ano yung attached file na yun?
Ito rin po, sir, yung nanggaling from the Blue Ribbon na subpoena duces tecum for the supporting docs for the cost of sales.
Ang sinasabi ko lang, kaya kung nire-reset
Purchases
ko,
po.
magising na sana sila Lincoln Ong, sila Dargani. The gig is up. Wala na kayong aatrasan. Huli na lahat yan. Ang haba na ng kasinungalingang ginagawa nyo. Kaya nga ang conclusion namin, kanina sinabi ko na mag-umpisa ako, ang hinahanap na natin ngayon ay baka ghost deliveries na yan. Kaya tinatanong ko yung presidente ng kumpanya, hindi ka ba na-worry? Hindi ka ba na-perturb? Hindi makita yung mga dokumento? Paano mo papaliwanag yan ngayon kung talaga nag-deliver kayo? Kung nagkonsyaba nga si LAO na nagtatago ngayon, at hindi ako nagtataka, nagtatago si LAO. Hoy LAO, kung nakikinig ka, nagtatago ka because complicit ka. Baka wala talagang deliver na goods sa mga kaibigan mo. That is my point, Mr. Jeff. I see you nodding your head. Do you agree with me?
Yes, sir. Noted po. Understood po. I agree, sir. Agree po.
Oh, you agree. Oh, I'm glad you agree. At least that's the first time that I see that you're still thinking and that you still, to a certain extent, are worried for the country. Are you worried for the country?
Sadly and deeply po, sir. Ever
Good.
since.
I'm glad you are because we're facing another threat. I'm not going to alarm the country, pero mukhang bibili na naman tayo ng mga bagong mask. Dahil may mga nagsasabi sa akin, naghanap na ako sa Red Cross kagad kung meron kami nung N95 dahil mukhang yun ang pinakamatibay. Dahil ito hindi nasisingot ito Pumapasok na lang sa lungs diretsa. So baka bibili tayo. Talagang nga si Dr. Antonio Lachon, yung ba makaka-defend yung N95 dahil ang lumalabas dito, bagay, it's unfair to ask because hindi pa talaga lumalabas at ang data, pero at the rate it's going, it goes direct to the lungs. There are no symptoms, there are no coughs, and therefore, what do you see, Dr. Liachon? Di ba delikado? Dapat maghanda na tayo kung anong gagawin natin, na bibili natin na gamit. Would that be correct? Would that be a step in the right direction, sir?
Mr. Chair, the manifestations are being contested by experts, whether it's a mild symptom or severe, because of the two variable results of the report. But since it was named by the World Health Organization, sir, last Friday as a variant of concern, then why should it be named as a variant of concern if it will not cause increased transmissibility or severity, and it may render, sir, the vaccines ineffective. And of course, it can cause recurrent infection. So tama, sir, yung iniisip natin that we need to prepare kung sakali, sir. And I think 35 countries na ang meron, sir, right now. And according to the WHO and CDC, we need 2 to 3 weeks so that they can make an official announcement of the manifestation of this disease. But, sir, it's better to prepare right now so that when the eventuality comes, ready po ang mga Pilipino. But the best is actually have the vaccination and get the booster to prepare the country. And then again, prepare the healthcare system and of course the human resources.
That's precisely what I've been announcing in the Red Cross. I've been putting out press statements to that effect. Although we should not be alarmed, better to be prepared. Do the protocols, wash your hands, have mask, double mask pa kung kailangan. And instead of face shields, dapat goggles ka. Ako, ginagamit ko goggles dahil hindi ko makakamot yung mata ko kung may goggles. Pero kung yung mask, kung minsan, dinaalis natin yung face shield, dinaalis natin yung mask, maaaring pumasok doon yung virus kung inaalis natin yung mask dahil mas convenient. Kala natin may false protection. So, sinasabi ko lang, baka iikot na naman tayo, another pagsasabantalahan na naman tayo, bibili na naman ba tayo kung hindi natin nalalaman kung ano talaga nangyari dito sa pera natin. At ang laki-laki na nga ng utang natin, top-notch tayo sa World Bank, sa borrowings. So, Jeff, ang tanong ko sa iyo, sabi mo, you're deeply concerned. That's why, my question still remains, bakit, kung di mo nakita anong pinagbasihan mo at nakita mo ang lumabas sa BIR ay 7.2 billion pero ang nawawala, unsupported ay 3.4 billion.
Yes, sir.
Kung alin yung mga kotse. Simple na lang tanong, huwag ka naman magalit sa akin, Lincoln, ha? Kung tatanungin ko, tinanong kita nung araw kung magkano ang sweldo mo kay Michael Yang. Ulitin mo nga kung anong sinabi mo, magkano ang sweldo mo kay Michael Yang?
Chairman,
Interpreter?
nung tinanong niyo po ako, hindi po ako sumagot dahil po ayun nga po, meron akong
Sumagot ka
investigation
kaya. Sinungaling talaga.
from the BIR po. Hindi po ako sumagot nun eh.
Hindi ba sinabi mo 80,000? Sumagot ka.
Sumagot yan eh.
80,000. Hindi ako nagtatanong, hindi ko alam ang sasagot ko. Sasagot mo.
Mr. Chairman,
Sabi mo 80,000.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. I don't recall.
Malayo pa ang birthday ko. Si Frank Dillon, Senator Dillon, pwede mong bulayan ang happy birthday, pero ako, hindi mo pati bulayan, malayo pa yung birthday ko. so, sabi mo 80,000. Kung tatanungin ka ngayon, halimbawa, Jeff, ikaw na tatanungin ko, di ba pwedeng tanungin si Lincoln o si Mojit? Saan nyo kinuha yung pambili ng ikaw, 2 Porsche at saka Lexus? Kung 80,000 lang ang sweldo mo. Jeff, is that a fair question, Jeff? Jeff Mariano?
Kung magbe-base lang, sir, sa sahod po, yes, it's a fair question.
Correct. Lincoln, tinatanong kita ngayon. Ang sagot mo, iniimbestiga na ako ng BIR.
Mr. Chairman, as in, ang dami na nilang letter sa akin, umaabot dito sa Senado. Ngayon,
sasabihin mo naman ngayon, sorry for disturbing you, sasabihin mo naman ngayon, ang tagal ko na nakakulong. Hindi naman kami may kasalanan kung nakakulong ka. Kung nagsabi ka ba ng totoo, di wala tayong problema. Hindi naman dapat magsinungaling eh. The law is very clear. We're asking you in pursuit of the public interest so that we can catch the malfeasance of government officials that you might have been involved with. Alam mo, ang talagang big fish dito, si LAO. Susunod na sa taas yan. Alam ni Mr. Leong yan. I hope Mr. Leong is aware of this and I'm sure he is aware. Pero, yan ang nakikita ko. Ang daming talagang pagka tinuhog mo yan, ang dami-dami talagang badges of lies, actual lies. Alright? Siyempre, wala kang sagot, Mr. Ong. Kung tatanungin ka, huli ka kaagad. Saan mo kinuha yung pambili ng Lexus? Magkano yung Lexus? Oh. Katulad ng sinasabi,
Lexus po, yung
oh,
mga 5 point something po
million.
yata.
Ha?
Mga 5 point something po yata yung
5.9
Lexus.
million.
I don't recall.
Balik nyo doon sa hinahanap natin, yung mga sinasabi mo, binili nyo. Yung sa Acme ba yun? Na sinasabi, walang nakatira doon. Katulad doon si Jiang Jing. Ano yung Jiang Ke, masabi mo, wrong spelling. Wang Ji, pinuntahan yung address, wala rin. Ikaw rin ang nagsabi noon. Wala rin yung binilihan ni nitong yung Green Trends, wala rin. Wala nakatira doon sa address. So yung nakikita nyo, talagang nakatali na talaga yung mga sinungaling nyo, nakamarka na. Tataka nga ako sa presidente natin, sabi niya, he's not tolerance for corruption. Pero wala naman sinasabi. Napipilitan lang ako sumagot dahil panay pa ang banat sa amin na kung ano-ano pa sinasabi. Kung lalabas pa siya, di mapupurihin pa siya ng tao. Mukhang hindi niya kayang suhituhin yung mga bata niya na siya nag-appoint. Alright, Mr. Abrea, did you have a comment? You told me earlier you had to leave. Is there anything that you also want to explicitate here?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Aside dun sa mga unsupported purchases based on documents and undisclosed financing, gusto ko lang po i-present yung last slide, Mr. Chairman. Kasi po, other than dun sa undisclosed financing, Mr. Chairman, may mga corp companies din po na ang investors nila ay mga companies din po or corporations. So, ito po yung last slide, Mr. Chairman, kung saan ito po yung tatlong top investors ng iba't ibang companies. Si Jason Uson, 110 million. Si Lin Wengxiong, Chinese nationality niya, 72.5 million. And si Yang Hongjiang, Chinese ang nationality, 50.4 million, Mr. Chairman. Then, yung iba pong companies, ito pong tatlong corporate companies na to ang shareholders. Kung saan ang major shareholder ay Yangtze Group Trade ay si Jason Uson pa rin po, 55%. Sa DCLA Plaza, si Jason Uson pa rin po, 55%. And sa XRL Holdings, si Ms. Rose Nonolin, 60%. Ang point lang po, Mr. Chairman, is sa paghahanap kung ano po yung source of financing, hindi po sufficient yung mga disclosures and documents for us to make a conclusion kung saan po talaga nanggaling, Mr. Chairman. With regard naman po dun sa mga delivery receipts na sinabit ni Farmali, there's no way of verifying, Mr. Chairman, kasi wala po kami mabanggaan na warehouse or even yung importations, Mr. Chairman, wala pa rin po kami natatanggap kung other than po dun sa record na galing kay BIR na 613 million yung na-import. Other than dun, Mr. Chairman, wala na po kaming ibang documents na natanggap. And as you have mentioned, yung whether legit, totoo, or dami lang yung mga suppliers, hindi rin po namin ma-verify yon kasi po yun po yung sinabit nila na company name at PIN number sa kanilang summary list of purchases, Mr. Chairman.
Lahat ayos lahat Alam niyo ba, katulad doon yung pulis na namatay, si Nuesca, pati yung napatay niyang pamilya, nagdududa tuloy sa ating gobyerno kung totoong namatay yan. Kaya nga nag-issue ko ng statement, dapat pakita ng Secretary of Justice, confirm nila kung totoong namatay yan. Natatakot ako dito, baka mangyari na naman dito sa Albayalde case, halimbawa, nagboro-moro sila, nag-file kunyari ng kaso, designed to lose. Kaklase niya yung nag-file Pareho sila, kabaro sila. Ngayon dito, yan ang inaasahan nito mga tao ito, kaya sinungaling sila ng sinungaling. Dapat magsabi na sila ng totoo. Lincoln, Mohit, magsabi na kayo ng totoo dahil kala nyo ba maayos yan? Hindi namin kayo titigilan hanggang lumabas talaga yung katotohanan. Yan lang sinasabi ko sa inyo. Now, I hope you're aware of that. Mr. Ong, are you aware of what I just said?
Oh, yes po, Mr. Chairman.
I would advise you to cooperate with the committee. Mohit, naawa ko sa nanay mo. Maawa ko sa kapatid mo. Are you aware of what I just said?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I advise you to cooperate. At least that will be taken as points for you. Well, this is not a criminal proceeding, but it is going to go to a criminal proceeding if you cooperate early enough, especially if we bag the big guys here, the crooks. Don't take the rap. You'll be left with the empty bag, and eventually we'll catch them also. Are you aware of what I'm saying?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Especially since you just had an Indian holiday, right? You're an Indian Filipino, right? And that holiday, what do you call that holiday? Diwali? Diwali, what does that mean?
Diwali. It's the Festival of Lights, or as we call it, it's more known as our Indian New Year.
That's right, Festival of Life. In other words, you know, you're young guys and you can still pick up your lives. And I would advise you to cooperate. Now, I just want to, again, ask Mr. Abrea. Following that, I took the liberty of putting all together para malaman ng mga tao bakit hindi natin matapos-tapos. Ano po? At papadala ko ng kopya yung ating mga kasama, pero pinapakita ko na sa inyo dyan. O yan o. Matagal na namin ginawa ito. Unahin natin si Rose Nono Lim. Ang involvement niya ay kasama siya sa DCLA Plaza. Tama, Rose? Rose?
Mr. Chairman.
Kasama ka ba doon sa Palil Estate? Piley Estate?
Piley Estate, yes, Mr. Chairman.
And you are the president.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And you have a percent share of 25%, which is 50 million, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And you have a registered address here of 18A St. Michael Street, Paradise Village, Quezon City. Is that correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Now, then you are in the company Patek Land Holdings. The SEC registration follows 1 month after Piley Estate, after Piley Estate Group. This is Patek Holdings. This time you are the corporate secretary and you have an investment of 2.62% to 2.62 million, and your investment is 35%. I don't know. You said you were a receptionist in one of the hotels before you married Lin Wei Xiong, right?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. That's right, po.
That's correct. So I'm presuming that you're going to say next that Lin Wei Xiong gave you this money, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
So he gave you this money.
Husband's money.
Why would he give you this money and instead of putting his name, why would he not put his name? Bakit hindi niya gagawin ilagay yung pangalan niya?
Mr. Chairman, sa company po natin, meron po tayong tinatawag na 60-40% investment po.
I heard that. Yes.
Yes po. And then my husband trust me and to put my names po sa mga companies
Of course. That's why.
shares.
Yes. Okay. Ito na naman. Happy 168 Development Corporation. 1 month after June, 2 years after June 16, you're the president of this and you now have 20% and you have a 250,000 peso investment. Nothing wrong with that. Then Sean Way Technology, June 8, 2016, you're the president and your percentage share is 32.3%. Correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
47 million pesos, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And then Philippine Full Win. You are the treasurer and you have an investment of 15 million pesos, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
And then Power Mega Mix Corporation. Dito, 100,000 pero you're the president, correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
100 pesos pala, 100 pesos. Hindi 100,000, 100 pesos. My mistake. And then Pharmaly Biological, October 20, 2017. You're the treasurer and chief finance officer. Correct?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. That's right po.
And you have an investment of how much?
51.50 pesos, Mr. Chairman.
Pesos. Baba naman, biglang, para ba nang hirap ka ba dyan?
No, Mr. Chairman, because we are not sure of investing that one po dahil hindi pa po kompleto yung mga documents.
100 pesos, tapos 51.50. Tapos bumalik ka sa 20 million dito sa Pai Hong Realty. corporate secretary ka, 20 million. Tama?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. That's right po.
And then Philippine United Technic Corporation. Meron kang investment, corporate secretary ka, 875,000. Correct?
That's right, Mr. Chairman.
And then XRL Holdings, you're the president and you have 60% share, correct?
That's right po, Mr. Chairman.
And then you made 100 and then or 3.74 million pesos. And then Piley Holdings Corporation, you have an investment of 100 pesos. Plus, you have, I don't know kung bonus yun, pero nagugulat na lang ngayon. I'm sorry, hindi naman kita yung pinipikon, no? Pero nababasa ko doon sa mga thread na nagulat ka na lang dahil sinabi mo, ikaw nagsabi nun eh, nagising ka na lang, may kotse na kagad sa garahe mo.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, because I want to clarify that, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, I don't want you to be ridiculed.
Tinanong niyo po na kung may pagkakataon po ba na pagkagising ko po ay may sasakyan po sa garahe ko dahil hindi po ako mahilig sa sasakyan.
Kung tinanong yun, ikaw ang nagsabi nun, wala akong sinabing ganun. Wala akong sinabi, huwag mong lalagyan ng salita ko. Hindi
Sorry,
hindi
Mr.
kita tatanungin
Chairman.
ng ganun.
Sorry po.
Kung alam ko kung anong oras ka gumigising eh. Kasi kung ganun eh,
Mr. Chairman.
baka nabunutan ka ng ngipin, nilagay mo yung ngipin mo doon sa ilalim ng una, nag-wish ka, yun ang dumating, kotse.
Mr. Chairman, ang asawa ko po talaga ang mahilig po sa mga sasakyan. Kaya po wala po akong interest sa mga sasakyan as long po, sa sinabi ko po, as long na gumagana, kaya po kami i-transfer po ng mga anak ko at komportable po kami, wala pong problema sa amin.
Okay. Now, pati mga anak mo, mga kapatid mo, mayroong mga corporation, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Tama po.
They have a total of 100 million pesos in stock holdings.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Ang daming pera. Nagbabayad ba ng income tax si asawa mo?
Alam ko, Mr. Chairman, mayroon po siyang binabayaran na income tax po.
Pero ngayon sinasabi nga ni Mr. Abrea, pag tinignan, can you show that slide again please, Mr. Abrea? Is Sean Way there as also?
Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Yung slide na pinakita mo na mukhang hindi magja-justify.
Okay. Second to the last slide po. Based po dun sa documents na na-submit po sa amin, yung accumulated income na declare from 2016 to 2020 ay nasa 1.36 million lamang po ni Ms. Rose Nonolin po. Pero ang total investment po per document po, Mr. Chairman, ay nasa 136.353 million po, Mr. Chairman.
Yes. So saan manggagaling ang pera yan? Sa Pogo ba yan? Rose?
Mr. Chairman?
I'm just
Yung pera po ng 136 million, 353 million po na sinasabi po na total investment po na nagmumula po sa lahat ng corporation po namin, yan po ay declared po.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm able to read
Yes
it.
po. Opo. So,
Uh,
hindi lang po yan sa Pogo ng gagaling, Mr. Chairman.
no, ang next question dyan, saan nanggaling yung perang yan?
Mr. Chairman, hindi lang po nanggaling po yan sa Pogo. Kung yun po ang tinatanong po ninyo, I have loan po sa bangko. Yes,
Okay. So, hindi na ako magtatanong dahil that's your internal ko na. But I
Thank
just
you.
want to say na nakakapagtaka na pati mga anak ko, kapatid mo, kasama dyan, 100. Now, ang tanong ko sa'yo ngayon, bakit hindi umuwi yung asawa mo from Dubai?
Mr. Chairman, sinabihan ko na po yung asawa ko na umuwi. Pero dahil nga po, sinabi ko po, before ng April po, tinamaan po siya ng COVID. So, under medication pa rin po siya. So, pwede ko po siya sabihan na umuwi, pero discretion po niya kung uuwi po siya o hindi. Dahil ayaw ko naman po na...
Hindi siya nag-worry kung humaharap dito. Di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Dahil po humarap po ako sa inyo at willing po ako tumulong dahil wala naman po kami tinatago.
Hindi ko tinatanong kung may tinatago ka. In fact, I've been very, try to be very, very, correct with you, di ba?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Tinanong pa ako, bakit mabait raw ako sa'yo? Di ba? Mabait naman talaga ako, pero nagtatanong lang ako para lumabas lahat, no? Hanggang ngayon ba may COVID pa siya? Baka abutin na siya doon ng variant, ha? Bago.
Ngayon po, under medication pa po kasi lungs po talaga niya yung tinamaan, Mr. Chairman.
Pwede naman siya mag-participate online katulad ni Wang, di ba? Pwede siya mag-participate online.
Pwede ko po sabihan, Mr. Chairman, kung yun po ang gusto po ninyo. Pero I cannot decide.
Hindi naman ako kasi mas maganda na andito siya dahil again, may controversy dyan na siya raw si Alan Lin, no?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I'm sure you
Pero
can...
naman po yan ni PDEA Director Wilkins Villanueva po. Na iba po yun sa asawa ko po na si Lynn Wisha.
Kilala ko si Wilkins. Sinabi niya nga yan sa harapan ng Pagulong Duterte. Di ba? Napanood mo rin ba yun?
Yes,
Napanood ko
Mr.
rin yan,
Chairman. Panood ko po yun.
Oo, okay. Sige. And we just want to know ano ang dahil si Yang Hong Min sinasabi rin na may involvement sa droga at tinanong ko na siya dyan at so let's take a look at the others now. Kay Rose, no? Rose, sa tingin mo saan galing nga? You're aware na yung sa Pogo? Anong pangalan nung kinuli doon sa